It's probably a money thing because, like Tesla, I like Tesla because they don't put out they don't label their car by year that it came out because they don't put a new one out every year. They just
it's like every 4 years.
They iterate on the one that they already have. But I think for other car companies, they do that purposefully because they probably make more money because of it. You know, it's like, oh, people want the 2021, even though it's not even 2021 yet. Yeah. But they just want that because it's like a mindset thing. Like they want the latest and greatest.
I think part of that is because Tesla only has one of each platform right now. You know, it's like they have a full-size sedan, a mid-size sedan, you know, their compact SUV, their full-size SUV, so on and so on, and their sports cars coming up and whatever. But they only have like one of each, and it's only been around for like that one generation. And so with a company like Ford who has the Mustang, and the Mustang's been around for 60 years, you know, or 70 years, whatever it's been now, like they really have to update by year because you can't. It's obviously a vastly different car, but the Model 3 from 2018 is the same thing as the 2020. But in 10 years, will you want to have a Model 3 that is a new year because there's been iterations of it so far, or will they just have another car that replaces it, which some companies do as well?
Right. It's also cause for confusion because if you're trying to buy like a used Tesla, how do you know? Like, is this the 2013 or a 2020? Like, what's going on here?
Well, and it's like the 2015 comes with all kinds of features, but the 2013 doesn't, even though they all look exactly the same. One comes with unlimited supercharging, one doesn't, you know, from all these different things.
Yeah. I mean, you also want to know how old the battery is, too.
Very true.
Because I was looking at them, and I was like, well, how do I know how old these batteries are? It has miles on them. It has a number of charges, but I mean, if you're buying a car, you want to know how long it's been around. I don't think the internal components are going to change as much, but I mean, having it out in the wild, I guess, you know, after driving it off the lot, you want to know how long it's been out there. So that concept is kind of confusing to me.
The good thing is those batteries, I want to say, I've heard they have like a 10-year warranty.
Yeah.
So those batteries actually last longer than you would expect.
Right.
So I don't know how big of an issue. I mean, unless the car's, you know, over, you know, 7-8 years old.
Right. It's
not really that much cause for concern.
Those first series, the 2013 Model S's are going to start coming up on some. Either it's going to be amazing and they're going to realize, oh, these actually last 20 years and that's dope.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden, there's going to be little battery fires all over the U.S. in about a year.
They're going to be driving like 20 miles to work and have to charge their shit.
It's just going to be like little black cat, little firecrackers just poof, poof, poof. All at once. All the 2013s are going up in flames.
I can't wait till all the people that, you know how iPhones, like people, like sometimes they have to and have them plugged into the wall just so they can use them, or their screen's all cracked or something like that because they can't change the screen out. I wonder how long it takes till like somebody has a Tesla like that. Like they have to have like a solar panel on the top. The screens are all like broken or something, and you're like, bro, we're changing the screen out.
You know what they're gonna have to do? They're gonna have to literally carry a battery like a generator and put it in their trunk and just have their car plugged in as they're driving.
There was
and have gas in the generator.
I know, right? Completely it's all loud.
Like blowing smoke out the trunk.
Just black fumes coming out the back of the truck. Like, what the hell happened to that Tesla?
Batteries are literally the cause for me needing new devices. Like my AirPods, I needed new AirPods because I take care of my stuff, you know, like I'm very careful with any of my technology. So my AirPods I had since they were brand new, I made use for them for like 3-4 years, and then they were just lasting like 20 minutes in between each use before I had to charge them, and I just like had to upgrade. But batteries do decay. It's just natural. I mean, obviously an AirPod battery compared to a battery in a car, vastly different.
So there was a company, I just looked it up really quick to make sure I got the name right. There was a company that was, there was a new season of Shark Tank that just came out, and we've always loved watching Shark Tank I like learning about some of the business aspects, but as well as, you know, seeing some of these new companies. But there's a company called Spark Charge. And Spark Charge. And I think they got a $1 million deal for like 10% of their company or something like that. It was a huge deal. It was a massive deal on Shark Tank, but it is a portable battery pack that's chainable, so you can actually connect multiples for more battery life that you're supposed to put in the back of your EV. And so there are going to be options for that are battery based, not generator based or something like that. So you could literally have like a 220 mile, base Model 3 or something like that, which doesn't have a range anxiety is the biggest issue for a lot of people with EVs is you can't just stop anywhere. And so with something like that, you might be able to, stack 3 of these things together and get an extra, 50, 60 miles of range or something like that to get you back home. So there are companies, but they're massively expensive. I want to say for a pack like that, it'd be like $5,000-6,000, something like that. And so you are looking at a chunk of change, but more and more, the more that becomes, consumer based, I think there'll be better products.
True. That is cool. I like that they're thinking of those things. I feel like the number one barrier to anything becoming accessible, we've talked about this with like VR products and stuff, is cost. So it'll just be a matter of time. Like everything when it's new is expensive. For sure. Then as it innovates and there's more competition, it just gets more accessible. So I'm excited for the future, man. I'm already setting some money aside for that electric Hummer.
That's bro. Bro.
Please don't get that.
That thing.
Honestly, out of like electric trucks options, I would probably want that just based on how it looks.
Yeah.
It's way better looking than the Cybertruck, in my opinion.
For sure.
And then
100%. You can't deny it.
There's not really that many electric trucks.
The two things is the battery efficiency. For how big of a battery it is, it only gets like 250 miles of range. It's so massive and so heavy that I think it's dramatically inefficient for what it has in it. That's one issue that I have. You're not going to get 500 miles of range like you might on a Cybertruck or something like that. Yeah. But also the top model, the one that everyone actually wants to get, like no one wants to get a base model of anything else. When you're advertising these crab walk and these crazy features and the big tires, like what you see in the advertisements are the top models, and it's like $113,000. It's a massive price point. Wow. And the base models aren't going to come out till like 2024. So my only issue with it is I think the Rivian is charted to go on market next year. I want to say like maybe fall or winter of next year, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. Cybertruck will probably be the year after that because they're always late with everything. I think they're wanting it to be next year, but it'll probably be the year after. I think Rivian and the Ford F-150 electric will be the first to market. But the
electric F-150?
Hell yeah, bro.
I haven't heard about that.
Yes, sir. I think it's supposed to next year. And they'll hopefully release...
That's legit.
The Mustang EV hopefully will come out next year too. That SUV, the Mach 1 or whatever they call it, or Mach E, whatever they call it.
See, that's what I mean though. It's like, of course, all these trucks and electric vehicles are going to be... They're just going to be expensive right now because there's more that goes into them. But it's just a matter of time, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think my problem with the base, like Ford will have their base come out, soon. Rivian, they're pretty close to market already. Cybertruck, I know they're building the factories from. I know they are going to create it. It just might take a little bit of time. But 2024 to finally have the original base model of the Hummer, it'll be so outdated by the time 2024 comes around for the stats that they put out for it.
I didn't know that was the timeline.
Yeah, I think it'll be a 2022 model for the like big boy version X3 or whatever it is, the one that's 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and all that stuff. But they're like consecutively a year after that, I think they're going to be releasing the other models. And so to have your cheapest version at a time where the Cybertruck and whatever else they're all, at that point, they'll have a plaid Cybertruck that goes 0 to 60 in 2 seconds and has 1,500 horsepower. Like Tesla just moves so quick in the tech realm that they are behind, and I'm okay with that. I'm just glad that Tesla has built a market that is encouraging this innovation. So I have to not complain about the fact that other things are worse than Tesla. There's going to be worse things than Tesla. Tesla's amazing, and they're the first to market, so they really do have a big push when it comes to the tech, when it comes to their range and stuff like that.
They have that lead, right?
They have that lead, and so I can't complain about it. I'm glad that it's happening. I think Ford being in that is a big move because they have the platform to mass produce at a lower cost that a lot of Rivian's not going to have because they're so small.
That's what's exciting. That's what's exciting to me though, is that pressure's being put on Tesla because they were the first to really popularize electric vehicles, but now they're gonna have to hold that lead if they want to really be that company.
Well, what's happened too is I think Tesla sometimes gets a little lazy because they've had such a since 2013 when the Model S came out, it was by far the best EV out there, by far. When I think it was the P90D came out before the P100D came out, and they had ludicrous mode, and it was 0 to 60 in 2.8 or whatever it was. Now it's like 2.4 or something ridiculous. Like, it was by far the best car on the market. But now, they kind of laxed it a little bit. Now they're trying to release some other things. But I totally forgot what I was saying. I was going to say something that was just crazy important.
Yeah,
it's crazy cool.
It would have been good. I know
it would have been really good. I
was on a flow.
Honestly,
you were on a flow.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about how cool your idea was.
Your brain just shuts off.
This man said, "What were we talking about?"
Like, wait,
bro, you were talking about it.
No, we were talking about your ninth birthday party.
No, so my ninth birthday party, I got one of these little
the jungle gym.
It was a diecast little Suburban, and just go for a whole other story like I planned it.
Oh my god!
What I was talking about is they got a little bit lax, and then they haven't updated as much, and now GM, who is making the Hummer EV, came out with Super Cruise, which is pretty widely accepted as better than Tesla's autopilot by people that have tested it and stuff. So now it's kind of interesting because that was their claim to fame. It's we're a great electric car, but also we drive ourselves, we do all these things. And most people that review them say that they like Super Cruise better, which is pretty huge.
Yeah, I have heard about Super Cruise. I know Joe Rogan did a podcast with somebody who's an expert in that area. And Joe Rogan was asking him who is competing with Tesla right now as far as their self-driving and autopilot program, and it was GM's Super Cruise that was right next in line and doing some. And what's cool about it is they both use two very different systems for their self-driving. It's kind of cool, kind of creepy.
Yeah,
that there's two big differences, but I know Tesla uses a combination of sensors and cameras. And with the Super Cruise, it's primarily just sensors.
Mm-hmm. It's LiDAR, right?
Yeah, LiDAR. They don't really rely on cameras too much, which is interesting, that dynamic.
It's interesting.
Kind of scary. I don't know.
It's a little
maybe
weird.
not.
It's, cool. It's weird in general. There's going to be some growing pain when it comes to the automated market, for sure.